Now on CoastTV News.
OC Bikefest still in question. What the council is doing tonight to move it forward.
Dock debate, Rehoboth Beach eyeing multiple options for the hardly used structure. Some, though, cost millions.
BB Healthcare's walk-in care facility will soon be joined by a medical center in Millsboro. What's next for the big project?
And we may be in store for an almost muggy day in our area. I'll show you what I'm tracking.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
An event that brings thousands of motorcycles to Ocean City. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 5. We begin tonight with a new promoter looking to take driver's seat for the OC Bikefest.
The original promoter, OC Jams, is not running Bikefest in 2025, leaving the town to search for another promoter to keep the event rolling. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Ocean City. Kevin, the group Kickin' Events and OC Council are looking to find common ground on the pricing.
Maddie, the previous promoters spent around $55,000 to use the inlet lot here for OC Bikefest, as well as spending an additional $35,000 for the convention center. But these new promoters are looking for a better deal. OC Jams used to run OC Bikefest in town, but they are now stepping down. Chase Michael, one of the former promoters of the event, is now behind bars in Florida, accused of writing thousands of dollars in bad checks regarding a motorcycle event down there. Now that OC Jams hit the road, the town has to find a new promoter, something local David Mumford hopes happens soon.
I think it's a good event. Keep it up.
Tonight, promoter Kickin' Events will pitch their plan to keep Bikefest going to the Ocean City Council. According to the Ocean City Tourism and Business Development Director, Kickin' Events has worked in Ocean City before and believes they will soon make an agreement with the council. But first, they have to iron out how much everything will cost.
They may be asking for some relief for some of the city fees. That'll be up to the council whether they want to entertain that or not.
According to the Ocean City manager, Terry McGeehan, OC Jams used to pay the town around $90,000 to use the Ocean City Inlet and Convention Center for OC Bikefest. They would also pay $2 per ticket to Ocean City. McGeehan says these fees help offset the loss they would take on parking revenue and would help cover all the public workers that have to put in overtime during the event. Mumford hopes they could find some common ground.
Well, I think it's very important. Economically, it's a big boost for Ocean City.
As both sides jockey for the best deal, the ultimate goal is to keep bikers and their money rolling into Ocean City this summer. They will be talking to the Ocean City Council tonight on their plans for OC Bikefest 2025, as well as to see if they're aligned with how much everything's going to cost. I'm Kevin Zappe, live in Ocean City, CoastTV News.
Thank you, Kevin. And in terms of economic impact, the Director of Tourism and Business Development says an event like Bikefest generates around $20 to $30 million of revenue overall for the entire town of Ocean City.
The Grove Park Canal Dock was built as a way to get to and from Rehoboth via the Lewis and Rehoboth Canal, but now the city says the structure is unstable. It's eroding. Live in Rehoboth Beach is CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken. Emma, the city says the solution could cost millions.
Charlie, here at the dock, it's closed for the off-season, but after talking with locals today and based on the conclusions of a city study, it apparently doesn't matter whether it's the heart of summer or the dead of winter. The dock just isn't being used. Now the city's looking at 3 options, 2 of which involve removal and cost at least $1 million. The city says eroding walls and unstable slopes are just some of the structural problems with the Grove Park Canal Dock. The city now wants to stabilize the existing walls, and they're eyeing those 3 options. One is short-term monitoring and maintenance for about $43,000, or an immediate rehab for about $300,000. There are 2 big projects on the table, though. The first, complete removal and replacement of the dock, costing about $1.9 million. Option 2, removal of the dock and added slope stabilization, ringing in at about $1 million. Some locals say it's just not worth it since the dock isn't used.
My opinion is not to put the money into it. You know, use it for other things that are needed, necessary in the town. It's a great visual, but if it's not used, why put any money into it?
At the meeting today, commissioners did not decide on any of the options for the structures, but they did say they will re-engage with engineers, and based on what they say, they could reopen the dock in its current state for the summer season. Reporting live in Rehoboth Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
And this brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know, how much investment should go into that Rehoboth dock?
Let's take a look at the results so far. Take a look at your screen, and 62% want the short-term improvements, which are the least costly option here. The 31% want the replacement, which is most expensive. Only 7% are voting for the stabilization option.
Now, we do have a comment today from Donald in Lewis. He says, quote, "I tried to use it twice. It was locked both twice." If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttvnews.com or use the mobile app.
Like most coastal towns, Milton faces flooding. So they want to try to prevent that, and the town is asking the federal government for money. Tonight, Milton is asking the Army Corps of Engineers for money to conduct studies and projects to restore and conserve the area. At a Milton Town Council meeting, they'll debate a letter they're considering sending to the Army Corps about this. If accepted, the federal government would fund the feasibility study completely, up to $200,000.
And we're taking a live look into Lewis. Now we're
well,
looking
we
at
were.
something else, but we're going to throw it over to Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams.
Well, that's called letting you see how the sausage is made. Is it still tasty? All right, let's take a look. Our gutter helmet camera, ocean view, 63 degrees at this point. We're going to stay in the lower 60s, but in sneaks in a little bit of rain. Spotty showers that we could see actually developing for us by the 9 o'clock hour. We're at 62 degrees Bethany Beach, but 72 degrees right now throughout the inland areas. For example, like in Georgetown, we're at 72 degrees also in Bridgeville, and 72 degrees right now in Milford. There is a dense fog that's going to affect late tonight going into tomorrow morning. We're going to wake up. It's going to be really kind of cloudy on the ground, so to speak, for tomorrow morning, particularly at the beach areas for Lewis Beach, Dewey, Bottom Hills, Ocean View, Bayview Park. But that's not going to reach all the way down towards Ocean City, rather. And then we have a re-upping of concerns for gusty winds over towards the Cambridge area. All of that, as all this is continuing to kind of just swell up and mix just to our west with more thunderstorms and all that, like just outside of our purview. Coming up, we're going to talk about the next couple of days feeling real summer muggy-ish. Charlie?
Paul? An open field on Route 113 and Hardscrabble Road will soon be the spot for the new BB Medical Center in Millsboro. Currently, there is one BB walk-in care center in town. Millsboro's town council had the new medical facility on their agenda for tonight, but tabled it. However, a local pharmacy technician tells Coast TV he thinks the new development will help the county overall.
I also think it's going to add a little more infrastructure to the area, building Sussex County as a whole, and increasing tourism and stuff like that.
Millsboro's town manager says the project was tabled for tonight's meeting due to a scheduling conflict on BB Healthcare's end.
To politics, at the White House today, President Trump made a huge announcement that's big for both football fans and the nation's capital. NBC's Julie Sirkin shows us this news comes as there's a developing tariff threat that some say would target the movie industry.
Touchdown for Washington, D.C. President Trump announcing the nation's capital as host of the 2027 NFL Draft, possibly on the National Mall.
Very, very amazing, I think, for D.C., but even for the country.
The news comes ahead of Trump hosting a key player in his tariff turf war, the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Amid the ongoing trade war and Trump's threats to make Canada a 51st state, the relationship with one of the U.S.'s strongest allies has soured.
They all want to make a deal because we have something that they all want.
The administration on Monday also threatening tariffs on all foreign-made movies, as Trump doubled down on his tariff policy over the weekend during an exclusive interview on Meet the Press, insisting the strategy would eventually bring back manufacturing to the U.S., but in the short term, acknowledging Americans could face pain, including higher prices, supply shortages, and a possible recession.
Is it okay in the short term to have a recession?
Look, yeah, everything's okay. what we are, I said, this is a transition period. I think we're going to do fantastically.
The president playing the blame game and only taking credit for the positives.
I think the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job.
NBC's Kristen Welker pressed the president on his immigration crackdown and mass deportation efforts. Asked whether every person in the U.S., regardless of citizenship status, deserves due process, which is guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment.
We'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me. And they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
Though, in fact, the Supreme Court has already ruled the Trump administration must allow immigrants basic due process rights.
Meanwhile, in the Capitol, California Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi slamming the Trump administration's latest proposal to reopen Alcatraz, the former notorious prison on an island off of San Francisco. Pelosi calling the plan, quote, not serious, emphasizing the prison shuttered its doors more than 60 years ago and is now a very popular tourist attraction. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
We are getting closer to the start of conclave, the process of electing a new pope. Workers today installed this red curtain on St. Peter's Basilica ahead of the start of the process on Wednesday. This is the balcony the new pope will be introduced from to the crowds in St. Peter's Square. The Vatican saying today all 133 cardinals who will vote to elect a successor to Pope Francis, they have arrived in Rome. It's called the new self-deportation offer, how it could change the way immigrant removals are handled in the U.S.
And we're bracing for a few late night scattered sprinkles, but really some simmering conditions for this work week. I'll show you exactly what I'm tracking.
New traffic concepts in Bethany Beach, how more crosswalks could be coming to town, up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Summer is here, and that means people are out walking and riding their bikes in one coastal town. A study was done to see how to make the town safer.
Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson was in our Coast Copter and shows us from above the potential changes for Bethany Beach.
Here in Bethany Beach, an over 400-page traffic study was done for the town to make it safer for pedestrians, especially in the summertime. And now we're looking down from our Coast Copter at one of the focuses of the study, North Pennsylvania Avenue near 1st and 2nd Street. One of the concepts of this study is to possibly extend the avenue to make it safer for pedestrians.
On your screen now are those concept plans. The blue lines are the changes the study calls for.
You never feel too safe when you're on the road.
This would make the road wider and create more room for a parking lane and a sidewalk. Right now, parts of Pennsylvania Avenue only have those things on one side. But Stephanie Sheldon doesn't see the need to change anything in Bethany.
I think it's fine how it is. It's been this way for many years. I don't think there's been too much trouble.
Pat Cookston rides her bike through Bethany all the time. She says change is needed.
What I'd like to have is just a designated bike lanes on both sides of the road.
There's no immediate date set on when the Bethany Beach Town Council will look at these concepts from the study for these streets. From the Coast Copter above Bethany Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Appreciate it, Brandon. Here's a look at your Bay forecast. 79 for Tuesday, 78 on Wednesday and Thursday. Hey, this is more like summertime than spring. Hey, let's talk about that when we come back. Well, the next couple of days, it's going to be really typical summer-like conditions. Very warm throughout the afternoon with a chance of a scattered shower popping in and out throughout the region. We'll talk about that in more detail in just a moment. First of all, the right here and now is this. We have cloud cover that's thickening a bit for us across Lewis, 69 degrees with the winds out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour. We are expecting a chance of a passing sprinkle or two, possibly as early as 9 o'clock. Temperatures in the 70s, 74 in Redden right now, but 72 degrees. Not only in Harrington, but also in Bridgeville, Georgetown, and we're holding at 71 degrees currently in Millsboro. The winds coming out of the southeast with an occasional gust between 7 up to about 16 miles per hour. So the winds are okay. Big concern we may have for late tonight going into tomorrow. You'll notice as you're driving to work tomorrow morning, dense fog advisory for Slaughter Beach, Broadkill Beach, Lewis. Look for problems with visibility from Dewey Beach, Bottom Hills to Ocean View, all the way down towards South Bethany to Fenwick Island. Now that's going to be a concern until about 6 o'clock Tuesday morning. So the fog will burn off kind of quickly for us, but it will be hovering late tonight going to early tomorrow morning. We keep a close eye on these scattered showers moving in from Richmond. We were concerned about it swinging in our direction, but now they're heading more directly to the north, so I don't see that as an immediate concern or threat for us, although we could see a passing sprinkle or two. Cloudy skies overnight with temperatures in the 60s. Winds out of the south. For tomorrow, 80 in Georgetown and in Seaford. Summer-like sunshine is what we're going to experience. We'll get up to 77 degrees in Cambridge, and we'll warm to 77 degrees also in Berlin as well as Snow Hill. Breaking down our expectations, 63 for Tuesday morning. By the afternoon, 81 in Long Neck, but 79 in Selbyville. Wednesday, starting off in the mid-50s, 56 in Millsboro, 58 in Georgetown, but then we'll warm to about 77 degrees for the high. Now, precipitation chances will begin to escalate more as we get towards Friday and Saturday. The amount of rain tracking from now all the way throughout the week, we're looking for maybe 2 inches of rain for the entire week because of this cutoff low helping to create the opportunity for scattered showers. But we see Thursday and Friday in the afternoon, we'll see a decent wall of rain that'll swing through for Friday. That being said, 61 for tonight, partly cloudy and staying warm. Warming quickly for tomorrow and 79, 78, and more sunshine for Wednesday, and almost muggy, to be quite honest, by Wednesday. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Look for that rain to kick in for Friday and Saturday, and of course, Sunday is Mama's Day.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. In Accomack County, a 16-year-old has been charged after making a bomb threat to Nandua High School on Friday. While students were evacuated, police searched the Accomack school, found no explosive devices. Accomack County Sheriff says the threat was determined to be a hoax.
Coming up, what's called self-deportation now offered from the federal government. What migrants are being offered if they leave voluntarily. That's up next. The Department of Homeland Security says it will pay undocumented migrants who leave the U.S. and return to their home countries. The government believes the offer could incentivize people to leave the country voluntarily and therefore decrease the number of migrants forcibly removed. Self-deportation includes a free one-way departure ticket and $1,000 to people who verify that they have returned to their home country. DHS says the self-deportation may preserve the option for the migrant to re-enter the U.S. legally in the future.
New today, Skechers getting out of the public market and going private amid President Trump's trade war. The footwear company announced an investment firm will pay more than $9 billion for the brand. In a letter to the president, Skechers and other popular footwear companies said substantial cost increases represent, quote, an existential threat to U.S. footwear businesses and their families.
After 21 years, Microsoft says it will be shutting down Skype today. The tech giant is hoping to steer users to its Teams application as a replacement. Skype was founded in the early 2000s and picked up by Microsoft in 2011.
Let's take one more live look into Dover. One more check on our forecast after this. Coming up new on CoastTV News at 6, celebrating Cinco de Mayo on Delmarva. That story and more next at 6.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network. Right now, it's Bayside Boys Lacrosse Championships. Then at 6:45, it's the Girls Championships. Then at 10:30, it's the final score. And on the DSN Plus app at 5:30, Boys Volleyball Cape hosting Indian River. At 6, Caravel Academy plays Appaquidimick in girls soccer. And at 7, Milford is home with Indian River in boys lacrosse.
Here in Dover, we're looking at cloudy skies, temperatures in the 60s, 63 degrees by 9 o'clock. Our umbrella giveaway winner, Cindy West over Rehoboth Beach. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a phone call away. And sponsored by Bruxett, Mandalis, and Federico. And we look for scattered showers to kick in on Friday, going into Saturday, and it looks like we'll have clearing skies just in time for you to have all of your Mother's Day festivities unbothered by Mother Nature.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.